Well, good morning and welcome to my channel. I'm Jennifer. This is A Country Life, and today I'm in the kitchen. I am starting in on making Christmas gifting bread. So these are all going to be little quick loaves or quick breads, and it is not lost on me that probably 4 months ago, maybe longer, I put a call out on, I believe it was on the membership tab, if anybody had, good morning Joe, if anybody had some quick bread recipes that they would like to see me make. I have a list going someplace and I keep thinking that I want to get to that. It's just not happening, and today it's not going to happen because I really need to make things today that I know how to make and that I know the end result, because I'm going to be giving these as gifts and I just want to be sure that they're just exactly what I want. So we're going to get started with harvest loaf today. These recipes, I think 3 of the 4 recipes are in my cookbooks. Harvest loaf is on page 39 in volume 1. Good morning, Joe.
Morning, everyone.
Everyone, huh? I'm feeling a bit Victorian today. Let me my sleeves. I actually have them rolled under because they have a really long, I'm going to show this to you right now. This is from my very first Stitch Fix box that I ordered. And see how they have this kind of long sleeve, and then it kind of really makes this puff. They're just a bit long for me, so I always roll this under. It also helps the puff not be quite so puff because, you don't have that pushing it up. Anyway, I really like it. Like I said, I'm feeling a bit Victorian. My hair pulled off to the side here, and I have on a pewter necklace here. This little gem was a gift to me when I was either a senior in high school, possibly a freshman in college. I taught Sunday school, and it was a gift from one of my students. Her parents actually owned an art gallery in the town where I grew up, and so they always had just the neatest, they always gave the neatest gifts because they had all these very artsy kinds of things. So I am ready to get started here. Like I said, harvest loaf. This is a pumpkin chocolate chip nut bread. It's a little bit of a, this is not an oily bread. It's made with all butter. It results in a denser bread that has to cool for 24 hours before you slice into it. If you do not cool it for the 24 hours, it just, I don't know, the flavors don't go through it properly and it doesn't slice properly. It's like an absolute that it cools for at least 24 hours. When growing up, my mom and I made so many loaves. I don't even know how many loaves of this bread, and it was always the gift for everybody. I've said this other years to you guys, but all my aunts and uncles got this. The mailman, our ministers, the reverends at church, the Sunday school teachers, my school teachers, just everybody, my mom's friends, everybody got this. We always made it early December, and then she would wrap it in saran wrap, wrap it in foil, put a little ribbon around it, and then she'd always put it out in a cold area. We had a room on our house that was just always cold, and so she'd always store it in there, and it would just hold up so perfectly well for Christmas. Now, I gave this as a gift to a mail carrier, and she asked for the recipe, and then she was like, I don't want to use butter because I feel like butter is bad for you, and I'm going to change it to oil. She changed it to oil, and then the one day, she caught up with me at the mailbox, and she's like, that bread recipe just didn't work out. And I said, well, boy, I mean, I've been making this for so long. And then she was like, yeah, she told me how she subbed in the oil for the butter, and I was like, well, that's probably the problem. So don't do that. Butter all the way for this recipe.
Pieces that I don't use, I cut them into little pieces, and then I'm drying them out for firewood.
So this is one of those recipes that I nearly always sift, and just because I always have, and that's what the recipe says, and it's what my mom did, so I still do it. All right, that's my butter, reminding me that I just kind of softened it in the microwave a little bit. So I put one amount, I'm doubling the recipe because then that way it'll use an entire can of pumpkin. So I have my 1 3/4 cup of flour in the bottom. And now I'm going to do all of the double. I'm going to double all of the spices and things. So I'm going to double all the spices here. Some nutmeg. We're going to go with the ginger. Doubling it makes for a half a teaspoon. And some cloves, half a teaspoon. And then we'll go with the remaining flour, which is going to be another 1 3/4 cup. And I'm just going to set this aside now that I have everything in there. What movie? Oh yeah?
We didn't finish it.
Was it Kumba?
Yeah, Kumba.
Kumba? Was it good? All right, over here I have 1 cup of butter. I'm gonna get that creamed really well. I like to scrape the sides a couple times just to be sure that I'm bringing up the butter all the way from the bottom. That's just what I wanted. All right, I like to mix this till it's really light, fluffy, creamy, and now I need to sift in the flour and put in the pumpkin. So I'll alternate. I'll do half of the flour mixture over here. I'm going to sift it in. Then I'll do all of the pumpkin, mix it. Then I'll do the last of the flour. I'll just barely mix that in so that I still mix in. I still have to mix in the chocolate chips and the walnuts. And I really don't want to over mix anything. To sift onto this plate, pour that in.
Mom, did you know that a really good fire starter are actually a block of ramen noodles?
Peter is making ramen.
Oh, yes.
Yep. I think it's done, actually.
Not.
All right, next up is, well, first let me show you the bread done. Whoa, boy. Always something. Where am I going to put that right now? Let me show you the harvest loaves. So these were in for 40 minutes. I've just been letting them cool for a little while in the pan. And now over here, what I'm going to do, what I like to do is just give it like a little, well, I usually can do it two-handed. There, do you see how that kind of popped out? We're just going to tip this. And set it back upright. Look at how cute that is. That is so cute. I'm going to get these washed. I'm going to get the rest of these out so they can be cooling. That gives me a minute to get these washed up because I'm just going to reuse these little loaf pans for my next bread. And the next bread is the Praline apple bread. I made this not that long ago, so I do have a video where I'm pretty sure I walked you through the whole thing, but I'll just do it again because there's always new people. Welcome. And this was so good. I just toasted up some pecans in the oven. Last time I used walnuts because that's what I had, but the recipe does call for pecans, and now I have them. So I have an entire, and I'm doubling this recipe, so just know that everything is doubled. So I have into the bowl of my KitchenAid here, I have the sour cream and the sugar, and I have the eggs and the vanilla extract. Now I'm going to be putting in all the dry ingredients. So I have flour and baking powder and baking soda, salt. All right, so I'm going to sift everything again just because I have my sifter out. It probably makes for a better quality, and you know, I mean, these are going to be Christmas presents, so let's go for it. 4 cups of flour. Oh boy, come on, fit in there. And now the baking powder. And just because this is so full, I'm actually going to sift it just a little bit here. I need some baking soda and salt. We're going to sift that onto the plate. We're going to put in the nuts, and let's see if we can do this without spilling. Not bad, not bad. And all of the chopped apples. This is 3 cups of chopped apples. And I'm actually not going to use the mixer part. I'm just going to mix this in by hand now. This is such a fluffy, creamy batter. It's so pretty. I'm just really scraping from the bottom and folding everything in. I don't want to overmix this. You don't want to have tough, hard loaves of gifting bread. Okay, now it's going to be just a minute so that I can get those other harvest loaves out, wash up the pans, and then I'll be back over here for the apple bread. These have to go in the oven now at 350 degrees. Again, since I'm making little ones, I'm going to start with 30 minutes. We'll see. Probably they're going to have to go closer to 40, but you know, I just want to be on the safe side. 350 degrees. Okay, at this point, I'm moving on to the cranberry nut bread, and this recipe is also in cookbook number 1 on page 38. This is just like the classic cranberry bread. First up, since I'm doubling this, I need to grate or zest 2 oranges. I also have to squeeze the juice from those 2 oranges and then add water to it to measure 1½ cups. I'm going to get that poured into my KitchenAid bowl here. I'll be adding 2 eggs to this. Uh-oh. Well, that didn't go as planned. right, let's do this again. 1, 2, 3, and 4. We'll do a tablespoon, which is 3 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Remember, this is all the doubled amounts. And 1 teaspoon of salt. I'm just going to get that. I guess I don't have to put that in quite yet. I actually forgot. I have to do my sugar and the oil. So we'll do 2 cups of sugar. And we have to do 4 tablespoons of oil. Yep, you got them.
I think so.
Yep.
How many?
The apple praline bread has come out of the oven now. I had these in, just like the recipe said, 350 degrees, but these were only in for about 35 minutes, and they are done. Toothpick comes out clean, so I have to look at my recipe, but I'm pretty sure I am supposed to get going quickly on the topping, get these out of the pan within 10 minutes, and then get the topping poured over top. Looking at these apple praline breads, I was like, something just doesn't look quite right the way they did last time. And guess what I forgot to do? I was supposed to press the remaining pecans on top so that they kind of like baked into the, little breads. I forgot to do that. So I'm just going to add them right to the butter brown sugar mixture when I make that kind of like caramely mixture. I'm going to add the pecans right to it and then just pour it over that way. I hope that that still works out. So what I decided to do, since I forgot to push those pecans on top before baking, I mixed them in here with the sauce. This is the butter brown sugar sauce. You just keep stirring and stirring, bring to a boil for 1 minute. And I put them really close together. I put the little loaves really close together, thinking that the sauce isn't going to run all the way down the sides quite as much, and then that might hold the pecans on top. That's the plan. We'll see how it works out. Well, so far my plan seems to be working, being that they're close together. The pecans are staying on top of the bread, and I have been going around and scooping whatever drips down and putting it back on, so as it firms up, it stays on top, because I really don't want to lose out on any of that praline sauce. And then over here, I just filled up all my little ceramic pans again, with this time with the cranberry bread. And I have a note written in here that says little ceramic pans, 45 minutes at 325. So I already turned on my oven to 325. I'm going to get these put in here right now. This is how everything turned out. I have the cranberry bread here. You can just leave it there, Joe. And then we have the harvest loaf and the apple praline bread. I have, just a minute, honey. We're gonna do a little bit of visiting here tonight. So I have some breads packaged up to take as some little gifts. And yeah, I wanted to do one more, which is a cherry pecan bread. And you got a little pizza on your face, Joe. You're gonna have to go wash your face before we go, okay? I do want to do a cherry pecan bread, and that's gonna have to be in a different video. And if you are interested in that cherry pecan bread, just be watching, because I'm probably gonna make it in one of the next couple of days. What's going on back there? All right, you guys have a good night. See you soon. Bye.
See ya, guys.